Hello everybody. I haven't made a video in a little while because I've been, well, to be honest with you, been a little upset about the new YouTube rules. That kind of upset me a little bit. The drastic decline in the monetization that I'm experiencing. So it got to be like, why am I busting my tail making videos if YouTube isn't going to treat its creators like I think they should. Without the creators, there's really no YouTube really. Anyway, I might make a video specifically about about how I feel about that. But in the meantime, I've been busy. I've been working on the van. I decided to start over building the van. I didn't like the layout that I had before, so I've been I tore everything out. The bunk beds are gone. I sold the bunk beds, and it just wasn't working out for like the whole thing. Like if you just got in the van and you went to sleep and that's all you did, they were fine. I mean, they were extremely comfortable for anybody that's interested in those camo bunks. They were extremely comfortable, like surprisingly, to sleep in. But to hang out in the van, like at night when you're when it gets too cold to be outside and you're coming into the van to do some cooking or just hanging out before you go to bed, they weren't good for that. They were really uncomfortable. There's no place to sit and hang out. There was you could basically, if you were in the van, you had to be laying down in bed is basically what it amounted to. There was not a whole lot of space between the bed and the counter. And so far I've kept the countertop I made is still in here, and I'm thinking about where this pillow is here. This back part right here is going to be my sink. This back part back here will be where I put the sink. I'm thinking, I mean, this is just tentative. I haven't decided 100% if I'm keeping this yet, but so far it looks like I am. I added the metal battery box. That's a battery box you see in front of you. That is a 130 amp mobile charger. Since I don't have solar panels right now fixed on the van, this is the second best solution to that. That charger can charge these batteries really quickly. It dumps 100 and, well, my alternator puts out 125 amp. I have a 125 amp alternator, so I can charge these batteries at 125 amps. And it's a 7-stage charger. It doesn't just, constantly charge and stuff like that. It's got the absorption and bulk charging, and it's, standby and all that kind of stuff. So it charges the batteries properly so they last a long time. Also, it takes the place of the charging system of the vehicle. So the vehicle battery is also charged in the same way. So it charges both the batteries inside the battery box, and it also charges the battery at the truck, always monitoring the truck battery as well. So it's a pretty nice setup, and it's been working pretty well. So let me kind of show you what we got going on over here. Kind of just show it to you. This battery box is bolted to the floor. It's bolted through the floor of the van, so it's totally secure in the event of an accident. I say these kind of things to people a lot when I see van builds on YouTube, and I see people just kind of throwing batteries in their van and not securing them. I used to think that there was nothing wrong with that and stuff until I saw what happens to these batteries in a serious accident. They actually become cannonballs. So they're very dangerous, especially when you put them in close proximity to the driver. I've seen people put them right behind the driver's seat and not secure them in any way. I've seen them just loosely put in the van. You just can't do that kind of thing. I've even seen a video where somebody explains that they feel that the battery cables that are attached to the batteries are strong enough to hold the batteries in place in the event of an accident. That's ridiculous. They are definitely not. Anyway, I just want to take a few minutes to again stress the importance of securing your batteries properly. Really put some effort into this. Because these things can kill you, and it doesn't even have to be a serious accident. It could be like a 30 mile an hour accident, and next thing you know, you got serious issues. So that's about it. And recently, I want to talk about. I'll show you the inside of this box in just one second. Recently, last weekend, when I was hooking up this charger, I met a fellow YouTuber. Howie He was in town, and I'll link to his channel in the description for you guys to check him out if you haven't already. But he was in town, and we hung out like the whole weekend, pretty much. And the dude is just a really cool guy. He's the kind of guy that I would hang out with, like if he lived here and stuff. Like I really enjoyed hanging out with him. It was a real good time. We worked on the van mostly the whole time. We went out to dinner one night, and then the next night we cooked some steaks. And just a great guy, man. And I really encourage you guys to watch his channel if you haven't already. And I wish we would have made some videos and stuff while he was here, but we were just like, balls to the wall working on this van. And the guy just I mean, how cool is that the guy just came along and just busted his hump working on my van? That was that was really cool. And Howie, if you're watching this video, man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. So enough of the rambling and just staring at something. Let me stop the video real quick, and I'll position the camera so you guys can see inside this box and see what's going on so far as we speak now. Alright guys, I'm back. Okay, here's the inside of the battery box right now. I just got these batteries in. My old batteries apparently went bad, so I had to replace them. So I decided to replace them with these. These were just too good a deal to pass up. I got both of these batteries for right around the $540 range. And they're actually about 10 pounds heavier than my previous batteries. Not sure what the deal is with that. I've seen a lot of good reviews on these VMAX batteries. I believe that they're Chinese made batteries, but they're a little bit more reasonably priced, and people really like them and say they last a long time. They came to me extremely well packed, like surprisingly well packed. And both the boxes clearly had been dropped because whoever picked them up probably wasn't ready for how heavy they were, and the box kind of ripped, and it looked like the outer box kind of ripped, and it looks like they dropped them. But because they were packed so well, they were double boxed and double styrofoam, just really packed well, surprisingly well, like the best packing I've ever seen on anything I've ever ordered, as a matter of fact. And they sport some stainless steel connectors. My other ones were not, and both positive and negative have the same size bolt. Both the bolts on positive and negative are the same size. My other battery had a larger connection on the positive side, smaller connection on the left side, which is the same size as these. But that was always a gigantic pain in the butt, man. I really hated that. So the way I've got them wired up now, they're wired up in parallel. So we're using both batteries at the same time. And you know, the wires from the engine run in here. I actually have to run 2 leads from the engine, one from the starting battery and one from the alternator, because this charger takes the place of the charging system. So you disconnect the alternator from the engine and then you bypass it with this. So that's all in here. Then I have these XLR connectors on the side to plug in the portable solar panels. You know, when I get to where I'm going, that's all I have right now. So I put XLR connectors on the side. And the reason I use those instead of some other type of connection is because I really prefer those, because when you plug in a connection to them, they lock in place. I really like them for that kind of thing, especially for something you're not wanting to come loose or a bad connection. Definitely better than a 12-volt accessory plug or cigarette lighter plug, if you will. That's just the norm that we use. Definitely not the best connection that you can get, but that's what's the most popular, so that's what most of us use. And then these switches right here, these are not wired up yet. One will be solar, be able to switch on and off the solar power, and this in the future will be what powers on and off the radio system that will be installed in here. Those of you that don't know, I'm a ham operator, and my future plans are to have a full radio station inside this van, and this will be what powers on and off all the radio systems. So, but that's a future down the road kind of thing. This switch here powers on all the 12-volt accessories that are up here at this fuse block. This switch here powers on the inverter. You know, it's the kill switch for the inverter. So that's what these two, and they are wired up. These two are not wired up yet. These 2 holes will be a battery monitoring for the battery bank here. Like I'll show you that later once we get it installed. But this will be a meter here and a meter here. One will be the starting battery, the other one will be the battery bank in here. So that's basically where we're at right now. I haven't really been filming all of this work because I wanted to get it done. There was a time crunch. I have vacation time coming next week, and my intention is that I have to get this up and running before my vacation. So, you know, I'm trying to, you know, bust my hump getting through it. Don't really have time because it takes twice as long to film something and do it than it does to just do it. I will report on whether, you know, how this charger works. This is my first experience with a charger like this. So far so good. It's been working really well. It charges the batteries very quickly, almost to where, you know, I'm not sure if mounting solar panels is even I mean, it would be nice to have solar panels like when you get to where you're going and they're charging the battery all the time. Like, that sounds pretty nice, but when all I got to do is start the van for, you know, 10 minutes to, you know, fully recharge the batteries, I don't know. You know, I mean, I guess eventually I'm definitely going to have solar panels, but I think that's really going to lengthen, you know, when I'm going to do it. You know, I'm not in a rush to put the solar panels on here anymore because, I mean, this charger really works really well. So far, I mean, so far that's been the experience so far. We got to give it a long-term test. One of the things I'm super concerned about with this setup is if this charger fails, the charging system for the van fails as well. I mean, this is controlling the charging for the van at the same time as charging these batteries here. That's the downside to it. That being said, worst case scenario, you know, you could just disconnect this pretty quickly up here and then reconnect the alternator to the battery. It would probably take 10 minutes. It would be pretty easy to do. So worst case scenario, if something like that happened where this thing failed, it would be very quickly to reverse it and bypass it completely and at least get the charging system working for the van again. So those are my thoughts on this setup so far. I'm going to be working in the van again today, hooking back up the lights and the fan and all the cigarette lighter plugs and all of that stuff I'm going to be doing today. And I'll kind of get back to you on that kind of stuff. That's just to catch you up on what I've been up to. Okay guys, I have finished getting the faceplate on. So the faceplate is on and the battery gauges are working. This side is the engine start battery. This side is the house batteries. So got a gauge for each one. And this right here is going to be where my shunt goes, but I have not done that yet. Probably be like one of the last things I do. So the gauges are up and working, faceplate is on. Now it's just a matter of wiring up the fan and the lights and all that stuff. I'll go ahead and get that done now. Hey guys, well, a little update here. Got 12 volt accessory plugs wired in. These are the cigarette lighter plugs. They're wired in over here. Got the 120 volt. It's all wired in. All the wires are run and wired up. And this is how it was run. This is the 12 volt wire running all the way over here, across there, down here, yada yada, to the connections here. I just got to wire up these three connections here, and then I'm going to call it quits for the night. So I've been out here working all day, and got a lot done today, and I think I'm going to pretty well wrap it up for the evening, and stick around for the next video where we're going to be building a new bed for in here. So we'll do that next. And I'll catch you then. Talk to you guys later on that end.